Hi, this is Kal Penn, and you're watching BollywoodHungama.com.
Well, it's wonderful to have Kal Penn, one of the finest actors that we have as far as Indian exports of actors concerned, and he's coming up with his movie Bhopal, A Prayer for Rain. Many can call it that he's the hero of the film as well, and we'll talk more about that. Wonderful to have you on Bollywood Hungama, first of all.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and that too, just talking to Kal Penn here in New York. And how do you react to the fact that the movie is finally releasing after 5 years, and it must be an important film in your filmography as well?
I'm excited that it's releasing, and also, thrilled that the directors in particular and the producers who kind of put the film together, even before we had the chance to shoot it, was really a labor of love in wanting to tell a story that has been told a few times before, but not really in this sort of a lens. On the career side, obviously working with Martin Sheen, Misha Barton, working with fellow American actors, but in a project that's entirely Indian. You have a special place in your heart for something like that, and all those things coming together. A film like this takes sometimes years, as it has in this case, to go from actually shooting it to cutting it and getting distribution. So we're very excited, fingers crossed. I actually haven't seen it in its final cut. I've seen some of the longer rough cuts when we went in for sound mixing. But I'm very excited that it's finally coming out. I think it's an important story.
In a few scenes of the movie, you're speaking in Hindi acid, and you have this heavy US accent. So how was that to deal with? Just come with the right accent, because I don't think that you're accented at all. Your Hindi is accented at all in the movie.
Did you believe it in the movie?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. I didn't know that my character would speak in Hindi, so I got the script. When I was in Los Angeles, I met with the director in Los Angeles, and I'm rehearsing by myself, prepping before we went to Hyderabad, where we shot most of the film. And we go to the first rehearsal. I land in Hyderabad, go to the first rehearsal. I read through the first scene, and the director kind of looks up from his page, then he whispers something to our producer, and then he goes, "Ha, acha. Abhi Hindi mein." I'm like, what? This in Hindi? Like, I didn't realize that he was speaking Hindi. I'm like, come on, Kal, he's a journalist in Bhopal in the early 80s. What did you think he was going to be speaking? So luckily, sat down with a dialect coach, and then also made good use of the fact that I have a ton of cousins in India, calling them all up saying, am I saying this line right? Going into sort of really quick prep, because the last thing I wanted was to do an injustice to the character. I mean, Motwani should not be a distraction based on the way he's speaking. On the contrary, he's got a lot of depth to him that I wanted to focus on.
Your accent was absolutely bang on, and it's very important that you speak in Hindi, because the little boy that you're conversing with, and all those factors, the Hindi element is very crucial. Did you actually interact with the journalist on whom you were playing? I believe his name was Keswani, right?
I thought it was Motwani, but it may have been Keswani. I didn't get to meet him in person.
Rajkumar Keswani.
So Ravi Kumar, our director, had the chance to meet with him. There's quite a bit of archival information on him if you kind of go and search for it. So I did a bit of research that way, and then had the chance to sit down with Ravi to talk about exactly what he was like. And then there are, of course, some creative liberties that you take if discovering why this guy's got this flashy shirt and this jewelry. And he's also one of the only characters in the film whose livelihood isn't based on the factory itself. So it gives him a lot of both creative leeway and a reason for him to be a whistleblower in the scene.
The persistent element, because Motwani is persistent in terms of just coming to terms with the fact that he believes in that there is something fishy going on, and there's something wrong. And in a small town, a journalist is not expected to be really investigative. They're forced to just do trivial stories somehow. The fact that this guy actually believed in his investigative skills, and later he got a lot of awards and all these things as well. Do you find it very inspiring?
Definitely. Look, especially in the way that the story is told. At first, Motwani is a guy who just wants to sell newspapers. He's a little bit of a hokey journalist. He's, not necessarily always printing the truth, which is what he has a reputation for. But it's clear that he loves the town and he loves his community so much that when he does get the sense that something is actually wrong, whether it's, the corruption of his local government or the corruption in Union Carbide, that he's writing about it and he's saying something about it. And the big challenge for him throughout the part of the film is getting people to believe it. So if their livelihood, their bread and butter is being given by somebody who's also poisoning them, it's kind of a very complex mentality for him to have to fight up against, which I was particularly compelling to play.
Hi, this is Faridoon Shahryar. For the most interesting celebrity interviews, do subscribe to Bollywood Hungama. Keep on watching.